Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aptera Owners Club. Do you guys remember back on November 7th, Aptera was going to go to a California Air Resources Board meeting in Riverside, California? They were going to vote on basically carbon credits or zero emission vehicle credits for motorcycles. And since Aptera is considered an auto cycle, it fits into the motorcycle category legally. And it could help Aptera financially quite a bit, just like the zero emission vehicle credits helped Tesla quite a bit early on, and continues to help Tesla quite a bit. Well, so they went to that. They went to that meeting. Aptera showed up. I think several of you guys showed up too, and they had some good photo ops in front of that really cool looking building. But they shelved. They delayed the vote on this measure, and unfortunately, I've gotten news that they've decided to kind of shelve it and not even go for it. So here's the email that someone got and they forwarded to me from the California Air Resources Board. It's notice of decision not to proceed for the public hearing to consider proposed amendments to the on-road motorcycle emission standards and test procedures and adoption of a new onboard diagnostics and zero emission vehicle requirement. So notice dated November 14, 2023 and published on January 1st. California Air Resources Board announced it would conduct a public hearing to consider approval for adoption of the proposed amendments to the on-road motorcycle emission standards and test procedures and adoption of new provisions related to on-road motorcycles under Division 3. By notice dated November 7th, that was the day that they were supposed to vote on these credits. The board announced the postponement of the hearing scheduled for November. So they said that they were going to postpone it because that's the last we heard. However, please be advised that the proposed amendments to the on-road motorcycle emission standards and test procedures and adoptions of new provisions related to the on-road motorcycles have been withdrawn. So they're withdrawing this thing. Publication of this notice of decision not to proceed, therefore, terminates the rulemaking action as originally noticed on December 1st, 2023. CARB may propose new regulatory action that is similar or identical that is subject to this notice. If proposed, a subsequent notice will follow in the future with more information, including the date, time, and location of the hearing. So it looks like this idea has died for the time being. Okay, but there is something else that the California Air Resources Board is doing, which I kind of wanted to let a few of you guys know because it might apply to a few of you guys. So that happens this Wednesday. December 18th at 6 p.m. What they are doing is they are doing an incentive program to help people that have less income afford an e-bike because they think, and I agree with them, that e-bike could replace a lot of car trips. And I think it would be great if more e-bikes and regular bikes became used as transportation for people. So just some information. E-bikes, so this was dated a year ago. E-bikes are slashing global demand 4 times as much as EVs are. So we like to talk about electric vehicles. Aptera obviously is a kind of a full-size electric vehicle, kind of a car replacement. But as much as EVs have been talked about, the thing that is driving down global oil demand more is actually e-bikes because there's just way more of them. And especially in other parts of the world that are perhaps a little more compact and a little more bike friendly, e-bikes work very, very well at replacing cars. And so they are decreasing, as of a year ago, 1 million barrels a day. So 1 million barrels a day of oil is not burned because of e-bikes. And that's a great thing. So that's 4 times more than electric vehicles, car replacements are. And, we love the Aptera because it's efficient. It's 3 times more efficient than the most efficient vehicles out there. And that's great. But e-bikes are 20 to 30 times more efficient. So 10 times more efficient than the Aptera is an e-bike. So if you want efficiency, then a bike or an e-bike is just definitely the way to go. All right. So for those of you who are wondering and want to see if you're qualified, the way this works is you have to figure out who is eligible for an incentive. So let's look at that. And so if you look at this, You have to be a California resident. So unfortunately, if you guys live outside of California, it doesn't apply to you. But if you're a California resident and you're 18 years or older, then you have a qualifying household income of 300% of the federal poverty line or less. Then you have to complete the application and apply, receive approval. So if you are single, then you have to make less than $45,000 a year of gross household income. So I think this is the federal adjusted gross income. So this is it. And then if you make less than 33, you come on a priority list and you get more. You get more of a voucher. So this is kind of, so like if you're taking care of 2 people, you can make up to this much. So it's gonna, a few of you guys probably qualify for this. Okay, then how's this work? Then what you do is you find out if you qualify. Then when you come back here, you're going to this website. It is ebikeincentives.org. I'll link it in the description. And then it'll this apply here will happen. And then of course, this will be different at that time. And then so the first installment will offer up to 1,500 vouchers. Okay. And then you have to find retailers that they have to apply to California to be an eligible retailer. So you just look in your area and these are the retailers. And then not every bike qualifies. So you have to have a bike. So you can have a cargo bike or a class 1 to 3 e-bike. I think these are probably the most popular ones. Cargo bikes, I think, are great. They can replace a lot of shopping, and that's why I've been reviewing a lot of e-bikes on this channel. And I've put probably 2,000 to 3,000 miles on an e-bike in the past year or two, doing things like picking up groceries, doing some errands, picking up takeout food, that kind of stuff. Like these quick trips of like 5 miles or less are super easy on an e-bike, especially a cargo e-bike. So the thing is they want people to buy bikes that are like car replacements. They don't want people to buy bikes that are for fun, like mountain bikes or road bikes. So the way they do that is you have to have an integrated front light that runs off the e-bike battery. So if there's the electric mountain bikes and stuff, they're not going to have a front light because they're just extra weight and people don't use those. Or a road bike. There's lots of these fancy road bikes that are the drop bar bikes that have electric assistance, but they're not going to have that too. They have to have a rear light that can be integrated or battery operated. So you can just strap on a rear light. So the key thing is it's got to have an integrated front light that runs off the main battery. That has to be ANSI or UL compliant. So this is for safety. So you don't want to burn down your house or your garage with your e-bike battery. And then it's got to be 1-year warranty, must be fully delivered, fully assembled. Okay, so that's what it comes down to. And then if you look, there's a list of bikes that are eligible. So if you click this, then you get this list of bikes that are eligible. There's quite a few bikes that are eligible. This is a bike that I recently reviewed, the Engway M20, a couple other bikes, Hauki Cheetah, yeah, bunch of different bikes, a lot of rad power bikes, Aventon bikes, bunch of bikes qualify. All right, and then what you do is you get $1,750 towards these bikes. And then if you make less than 225% of the federal income level, then you get $2,000. And then this doesn't come to you as cash. You like get a voucher number, and then you go to one of these retailers, and then you pick a bike that qualifies. You give them your voucher number. They give you, if the bike costs less than that, then you just get a free bike. If it costs more than that, you have to pay whatever's left over from the $2,000 or $1,750 that you get. All right, so I think this is a great thing that California is doing, and I hope it drives more e-bikes onto the streets, which then hopefully leads to better biking infrastructure, which leads to just more people riding bikes and replacing car trips with bikes. And once people start riding bikes, they will get comfortable with smaller vehicles. And compared to, one of the big concerns about the Aptera is it's so small and the people feel like it's unsafe. Well, compared to these like giant 3-row SUVs that are flying around, like, the Kia Telluride or the, GMC, like the Ford Expedition and Cadillac Escalades, these huge SUVs and big trucks that drive around and, represent trucks and SUVs represent 70% of new car sales in the US. So, I mean, we need to move away from these giant vehicles. I mean, there's a time and a place for these vehicles. Yeah, if you're carrying a lot of people and a lot of gear and you need four-wheel drive, yeah, that's kind of what you want. But most of these people are like, I see most of these cars like one person is driving it to work every day is what's happening with most of these vehicles. And so once people get used to bicycles, then the Aptera seems huge to them. And that's what it seems like to me since I commute mostly on bike, and Aptera just seems just really big. And I think that's a great step towards um, making our transportation system more efficient and just more people centered rather than giant car centered. All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.